afternoon, the perfect plans.
He asked her out numerous times. He had a bit of a boyish look about him. He seemed like a nice guy.
But this date isn't what it seems.
To be suddenly put into this situation has got to be just one of the most terrifying experiences ever.
For this Florida beauty, it's the ultimate nightmare.
I said to him, "Why did you do this to me? I really thought I was going to die."
Fort Lauderdale, Florida. It's a balmy summer afternoon, and Christine Kent is ready to seize the day.
Christine Kent, she's a very, very vivacious woman. Redhead, very beautiful woman. She's full of life.
I'm very active and very outgoing, and I always love to help other people.
If you're looking for a nice person, a genuinely good person in the world, Christine Kent.
Alan Sinclair thinks the world of Christine, too.
Alan Sinclair came from a very decent family, good parents.
Somebody who knew him at that time would describe him as a nice, caring guy who would do anything for you. If you needed any help, he was always there to help you.
Their date starts out just as sweet as can be.
Don't you like the beach?
I just assumed that we would just go somewhere local and have a drink together and talk.
It's just what Christine had in mind. A casual afternoon with the possibility of becoming friends down the road.
You may develop more feelings for somebody if you really get along well with that person and have a lot of mutual interests. You never know where things can go.
This date's been a long time in the making. Alan first met Christine at the chiropractor's office where she works. Alan, a fence salesman, came in with a bad back.
He had a bit of a boyish look about him. He seemed like a nice guy. I administered therapy to help alleviate his pain.
But he still left with a heartache.
So let's see, I have an appointment here Tuesday at 4. Are you available then?
Well, is there any way we can maybe see each other sooner? I'd love to ask you out on a date.
Christine politely rebuffed those attempts.
I felt flattered, but I told him that it wasn't proper, that we weren't allowed to date the patients.
No, I'm sorry. I have a strict patient confidentiality, you know.
It's no big deal. It's no biggie.
But a few months later, fate would bring them together again.
Hey, Christine, what's going on?
Hey!
Christine has a side job.
I was doing a promotional job and dressed up very pretty and did my hair, and so I often got a lot of attention. Alan came up to where I was working. We talked for a few minutes, and then he asked me out again.
And at that point, he wasn't a patient at the doctor's office anymore, so she goes ahead and agrees to go out with him.
I thought it would be nice maybe to get together just to talk and have a drink. It's going to be nothing more than a very casual date.
Or at least in Christine's mind. Alan has a different idea, and he's pulling out all the stops.
He said, "Oh, I've packed some things like the bottle of wine and the cheese and crackers and grapes.
Hardly what Christine expected from this shy guy.
He then turned on some soft music. He asked me if I would like to dance. He was a little insistent with kind of grabbing my hands. He leaned forward and tried to kiss me. It was very awkward and uncomfortable for me, and I didn't like being put in that position. So he was rather disappointed, and the mood changed, and we didn't even finish our drink. We ended up packing up and leaving.
Alan.
And the car ride home was rather quiet. We didn't say much.
I'm really sorry if I hurt your feelings. I really didn't mean to.
When he dropped me off, we just basically said goodbye. I'll see you around. And I felt like his feelings were hurt, and he felt rejected.
Yeah.
Christine has new men in her life. And tonight, dinner with a friend puts a smile on her face. But it won't stay there for long. Little does Christine know, this meal would nearly be her last. A lone visitor has come to her doorstep unannounced. Christine's past and her present are about to collide. It's a beautiful summer's night, and Christine Kent is enjoying it with a friend.
Who treated me for a delicious dinner, filet mignon, and I really ate very well that night.
But this night is young.
It was a little bit after 10, and I'm unpacking my groceries, and the next thing I knew, I heard a knock at the door. And I thought that was rather unusual because it was kind of late. I was totally caught off guard with this unannounced visit.
Hey, Christine.
Alan. Hi. Come in.
It's Alan Sinclair.
Good. How are you?
Christine hasn't seen Alan for years. Their date is a distant memory, though not for him.
She was kind of startled, taken aback that he was there.
Christine, being the nice person that she is, starts talking with him.
And I said, oh, what a nice surprise. But I was thinking to myself, well, this is rather unusual. It's kind of late. You know, common courtesy would be to call first, but he said he was in the area.
I got a surprise for you. I have a bunch of pictures that I'd like to show you.
He said he was sort of an amateur photographer, so, you know, surprised, but she agrees.
And Alan makes himself right at home, setting up his slideshow on the couch.
And I thought, well, okay, that was a little awkward, a little cozy. But I sat down to be polite.
Wow, that is an amazing shot.
Maybe she underestimated
How
Alan.
did you get that?
Maybe this is his strange way of burying the hatchet and moving forward at a slower pace.
Oh, hey, Christine.
Hey.
Since he first laid eyes on Christine, Alan has never given up hope that he could win her heart. It's a feeling that's taken hold of him to the core. In fact, there have been other women, but he can't stop picturing himself with one. To the point of obsession.
Wow, that's breathtaking.
I thought you'd like that one the best. It's my favorite, too.
That's incredible. Well, good job. Nice. That's great. It's over.
I didn't know if he had to get something else he wanted to show me, but he certainly did. The next thing I know, I heard
Over here. On the couch.
my heart just sank.
Shut up. Christine, shut up.
She can't believe that this person that she knows or has known is pointing a handgun at her.
Apparently, that's what you get for spurning the affections of Alan Sinclair.
I thought he wanted to get back at me because I didn't want to date him, and he was humiliated.
Stop.
We're friends, remember?
Her first thought is, I'm not going to go out like this.
Shut up.
Christine is a very shrewd woman.
God loves you.
She begins to try to talk to Alan.
Why did you come over here? We're friends, right? God loves you.
I looked at him right in his eyes, and I never blinked. And I said, Alan, what are you doing? I'm your friend. God bless you. I said, what's wrong?
That's why you came here, right? We're friends.
I was trying to get to some compassionate side to him, trying to get him to think about what he was doing. I'm his friend.
All the while, she's plotting her escape from this surprise visit turned nightmare.
I continued to talk to him about God, and I said, Alan, whatever you're thinking about doing, I said, this isn't right. I said, God bless you. I said, God loves you. And I kept walking, slowly inching around my couch.
Christine is standing up, coming around the couch, and remember, he had the gun pointed at her the whole time. She was backing towards her front door. She knew she had to unlock the door.
And she's thinking in her head that what I'm going to do is I'm going to get to the door and I've got to get out of the house. She was trying to do everything in her power to be as calm and collected as she could until she could get that door open.
Her gentle voice works its magic. Alan appears under her sway.
It seemed like I had him in a hypnotic state, almost. I had him very calm.
She remembered that he was in a real fog. He looked like he was not in the right state of mind. His mind looked completely in another world.
I thought this is my chance to break free, to make a run for it. So I swung the door open. I screamed help as loud as I could. I just thought, oh my God, this is it. This is that moment that I'm gonna die.
What started as a sweet but awkward picnic date between Alan and Christine has evolved into something out of a horror film.
Think about what you do before you do it, okay? We're friends. God bless you.
Now, she's managed to get out of the house.
I think when Christine bolts out the door, he sort of snaps into a rage.
Her crazed suitor is in hot pursuit.
He opened fire twice. I was paralyzed instantly in midair as I was running. And I just felt this, all of a sudden, this disconnection with my body.
She can't move. She can't get up. She can't feel anything. She can't try to run for her life.
And Alan's rage is far from spent.
He got in his SUV. The next thing I know, I see this huge tire coming straight at me as he was backing out of the driveway.
2,000 pounds of steel bear down on Christine's body.
And I couldn't look. I couldn't feel the severe pain of being run over, but he ran over my abdomen on the left side, and I thought, oh dear God, this can't get any worse. And he turned the steering wheel while he was on top of my body. I really thought I was gonna die.
Christine is on the ground, and she's been crushed by this vehicle, and the vehicle drives off. And here she is thinking, you know, I need help. And she starts yelling and screaming, asking for help. And she sees a vehicle, and she thinks, oh my God, someone's coming to my rescue.
I just prayed to God again. I said, God, please, please help me. Please, God, help me.
If only the nightmare had ended there. Christine Kent's date with Alan Sinclair has delivered her to a night straight from hell. Shot, run over, and unable to move, she hears a car approaching. Finally, it seems, help is here.
When, in fact, it was Alan returning to finish the job.
He didn't say one word to me. He dragged my body while I was conscious, dragged me across the other side of my driveway, was tearing my flesh, and he laid me to rest near my driveway.
He actually leaves her right next to her garbage can.
I said to him, "Alan, why did you do this to me? Why?" And he didn't say anything, and he just walked away. And I was so scared. I thought he was going to come back and shoot me in the head because he knew that I was still alive.
But apparently, Alan has simply left her to die.
I just laid in my driveway waiting to be rescued. And I prayed to God, please God, don't take me up.
Luckily, neighbors had heard her cries and called 911. Besides her severed spine and a gunshot wound to her foot, Christine has grievous internal injuries.
She had a broken pelvis, broken hips, severed liver, severed spleen, and all of that was attributed to the car driving over her. When I got to the hospital that night, the attending physician, the surgeon, basically told me that there wasn't much hope.
But Christine proves him wrong.
I couldn't feel anything from my waist down. It was just a horrible feeling. But I was grateful. I was so grateful to be alive.
While police are on the hunt for Christine's deranged admirer, Alan Sinclair turns his rage inward.
He wrote a note basically admitting that he screwed up and that he was really, really sorry.
We don't know where he went from there. We know he ultimately winds up in the Home Depot parking lot in Florida City. He had intentionally placed himself in his car, turned off the car, and attempted to asphyxiate himself. It was very hot that day, and he figured if he left the windows rolled up and he just turned off the car, he would just go to sleep and he would die.
But his half-hearted suicide attempt fails. After arresting him, police search his car.
And what they really found disturbed them. They found condoms, they found flex cuffs, and they found an unopened bottle of bleach, which in their minds obviously pointed to the fact he was going to kidnap her, rape her, torture her, and kill her.
Alan Sinclair is convicted of first-degree attempted murder and is serving life in prison without parole. Christine tries to keep his memory far from her mind.
So after all of this, I had to put anger and hatred aside in order to survive. I needed all of my strength, and I didn't have any room in my heart for anger or hatred.
Christine Kent is paralyzed from the waist down. She lives in constant pain from being run over, but her spirit remains unbroken, knowing that this date from hell could have had an even worse ending.
It's just amazing how I have survived this attack and how I have come back strong and still able to do so much with my life now, even from a wheelchair.